I ended up in technology-related careers more by accident than by design. I wish I could say it was a very well planned out career path, but it wasn't. I went to art school and graduated in the middle of a recession and didn't want to be penniless forever. I went back and did a couple of postgrads at Napier in IT and business and then in multimedia technology. And it was the second one that really opened doors for me. It helped bring together my art school background, the business elements that I'd studied, the IT elements, but also new technologies. At the time, the internet and e-commerce and multimedia technology, it led to things like user interface design and working with clients to help them make the best use of e-commerce channels, solve problems, if you like, using new technologies. And I discovered that I absolutely loved it. I think the problem-solving element as much as anything else. So it was more of an accidental career pathway, but one I'm really glad I followed.
So I decided to work in the tech sector, not through the traditional route. So I didn't study computer science at school. They didn't actually offer computer science when I went to school. I went to university and studied business management, and part of my degree was about information systems and web development, which I actually found far more interesting than studying finance and economics. So I decided when I left university that I would seek opportunities in that field, and I became a systems analyst. I should also say that when I was at school, I really enjoyed physics and maths and the really technical subjects. But my parents, who advised me that perhaps a career in music, which was what I initially wanted to do, was not a good option, and I should perhaps do something that maybe wouldn't be quite so hard, because I thought computing was very much for people who were really, really bright and, the boffins, and I didn't identify myself as being like that.
I completed a degree in commerce in 1984, and my degree contained programming and information technology. But part of my degree was to do a work placement, and I did this for 6 months at a local hospital. During that time, I wrote a feasibility study into the introduction of computers at the local hospital, and following that report, the hospital did introduce the computers.
Having that background helped me to get my first role in consultancy because it was quite an unusual skill set at the time. So it opened doors that otherwise wouldn't have been opened. There weren't degree courses you could do back then that would lead you into that sort of career. There was computing science and things, but because I'd followed the art school path, it was quite a different skill set. But the early experience I had gave me confidence to go for a role that I probably wouldn't have otherwise. And then getting that role gave me access to really brilliant training and development pathways at Capgemini. And that gave me the opportunity to work with people who were, real technologists, who were coding, who were programming, who were building the apps. And I learned a lot about problem solving and the way technology can be used to solve those problems. Not in a solution itself, but understanding the way to apply it to find a way forward.
So I wouldn't be where I am today as the principal of a college had it not been for the experience that I acquired in the technology sector. I've developed a number of transferable skills by undertaking the role of computing lecturer and also systems analyst. And what was really important was, as a computing lecturer, the skills that I learned in industry I was able to bring directly into the classroom. So I've learned how to project manage, how planning is absolutely essential. Communication is absolutely key when you're working with highly technical pieces of work. You need to be able to communicate really easily because a lot of that is really technical, and you're obviously going to communicate with people who don't necessarily have the same level of knowledge as you.
It's been extremely beneficial to me having a tech background for my career. At a time when people weren't using computers, I was using it effectively and able to show others how to use technology. It meant I could produce accurate information quickly, and that information was then used for decision-making purposes.
In my current role, I think it brings a number of things. The problem-solving capability is definitely one. The ability to bring multiple threads together and to see the overall shape of the problem, not just one particular pathway. I think it also taught me that technology is part of the solution, but not the solution in its own right, and that people and communication and change are generally the really challenging things. In some of the big programs that I was involved with over the years, the technology in lots of ways was the easy part, bringing people with you, managing the change, planning the transformation, having the ability to see the to be and where you wanted to go was the difficult part. And I think all of that has really helped me in this role and my last couple of roles as well.
So my tech background has helped me immensely in my current role. So the most obvious thing is the ability to problem solve. I actually thought when I was at school that I wasn't particularly great at problem solving, but I subsequently have learnt along the way throughout my career that actually I'm not too bad at that. So, you know, if you have that kind of analytical mind, then you're going to do well in the technology sector. But if I relate it back to what I do now, I think that is probably one of the skills that has been directly transferable.
So my tech background in my current role means that I understand how technology can benefit an organisation. I'm able to identify opportunities for using technology and to build it into the curriculum design. I can produce information quickly and use it to build scenarios. That enables the college to meet targets and to do so in the most efficient way. I'm also able to learn new systems very quickly because of that technical background and the understanding that I have. And then I still enjoy sharing the new technology with others and still train them on how to use it.
If I could give my younger self some advice, don't panic, take risks, don't worry. Things will work out in the end. I think I'd also say follow your heart and do what you love. I think it would be really awful to be in a role or an industry that you didn't love and didn't passionately want to be part of. So I would say follow your heart, don't be scared to take risks. If it does go wrong, you will always find a way forward. There is always another option and choice as long as you don't panic. So do what you love.
The advice I would give to my younger self is, first of all, and it's really important, make sure that you believe in yourself, believe in your capabilities. If you have a goal, if there's something that you want to do, you will be able to achieve that if you put your mind to it. So I think that's probably the first piece of advice, because quite often when you're younger, you're not as confident as you are, perhaps as you acquire the experience of having worked in a job for a number of years. The other thing I would say to myself is that actually the tech sector is not necessarily for high flyers. I thought, as I mentioned before, that a career in technology was very much for boffins. I didn't identify myself as a boffin. I'm not a boffin at all, but what I would say is that there's lots of opportunities, whether it's a foundation apprenticeship, whether it's a modern apprenticeship, or even if you want to come to college and do a HND, there's lots of different options for you. You do not necessarily need to go to university and do a computer science degree. There's lots and lots of different options.
Advice to myself, starting off, I would say you have a lot of potential, have faith in yourself and keep on learning, because the future is exciting.
I truly believe that technology is one of the non-gender specific career paths. What it is totally based around is competency. If you work hard and you deliver a really competent professional service, people very much appreciate that in this technology market. And the way they look at it is working hard, learning, developing your skills and your ability to contribute is much more important than your gender.